Hello and welcome everyone to another edition of the Game Day Squad Aussie Rules live show. I am your host this evening. Tom is not joining us. He is not here, but we don't have to worry about that because we have a very, very special guest in Kerm back on the Game Day Squad Aussie Rules live show. Kerm, good to have you back, mate. It's been a while.
It's good to be back talking about some footy. I've been heads down, bums up in the cricket side of things on Game Day Squad, but it's good to enter back into the realm of Aussie Rules footy, and I'm keen to chat about going into round 10.
Well, it's awesome to have you. It's only, I think, your second time I've been with you on the live show this year.
Yes.
So it's always a treat, which also means it's only the second time all season I've been on this show and had a higher rank than my co-host. So I am going to enjoy that. And I'm going to look forward to, I know last time you were here, we ripped into Tom's tears.
Yeah.
We were pretty ruthless with him not being here. So I can't wait to do that. Hello to everyone joining along, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitter. It is a pleasure to have you all. Make sure you get in your questions. Anything you've got now that the teams have dropped, we're here to help you. Sometimes maybe you're here to avoid what we're doing.
I was going to say.
bit of that. So, yeah, we want to know what you've got, what decisions, what are you thinking about, and we can potentially discuss them today and give you a chance to win some packs. I also want to know, I was thinking about this today, and we've never asked this question, but if you're following along, drop your rank for the seasonal competition in the chat below. I'm really keen to see how everyone is going. Maybe maybe put us to shame. Then maybe we should be starting listening to them. So I'm keen to see that. Kerm, we always look at the squads as we have that music intro coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from the teams that's being released that you want to have a chat about?
Your man, Rosie, he is back in. That's got to be the biggest news of the week, right? At least for this show between us two, because I know that you'll be up and about for that. But man, yeah, you've got to be excited about that. I had Rosie in my team earlier on in the season, swapped him straight out for Butters. Got to think about it now. You've got to think about those two. And I haven't deployed both into my midfield yet. We're a little bit light on hands in the midfield slots, as we know. So having both in there is a tricky situation to digest. But nevertheless, Rosie, a gun, Butters, a gun. I'd love to know where your head's at with that regarding fantasy, taking your port-coloured sunnies off for this one.
Oh, I'll happily take off my port-coloured sunnies this season. You know, I think everyone knows my views on my beloved Port Adelaide. I've got a rule, Kerm, and I try to stick to it as much as I can. And it is, unless your name is Sam Walsh, you don't get played after being out of injury. I don't bring someone straight back into my squad, which is tough because, as you know, I've got my prize Connor Rosie card.
I was going to say.
But I've done something bold this year because I've always had an all-star or a prize card. You're going to get to my squad. You're going to see what I've done. It's good to get him back. We should have an easy win for him to get up to speed and hopefully play him next week. But I've gone big on another Port Adelaide midfielder this week. So I'm keen to talk about that as we get into it. A few questions coming in. We're going to get to them in just a moment. We just want to go through the rest of the teams because I was having a look. Do you know what stood out to me? Not fantasy relevant, but Ross Lyon just swinging the axe and getting rid of 6 people.
Literally everybody's out of the team. The twos are back. I was actually really intrigued by Jack Hayes. His first week back, he was quite good. Obviously, last week was a very big stinker. But yeah, very interested to see what he does when he gets a good run at it. Obviously, a lot of injury since he's been into the league, but he was a name I was keen on. Another name that stood out for me is no Tom Liberatore yet. He is still out with concussion protocol, I believe. So for the Bulldogs, as hard as a read as they are, it might be a little bit easier with Tommy Liberatore out. Maybe Treloar's a little bit safer. Bontempelli's a little bit safer. I've gone a pretty left field defender this week that we'll get into later on. But yeah, that was another one who stood out to me.
Yeah, nice. Well, we'll get into that. I'm keen to see how your squad is because you haven't actually been showing me behind the scenes anyway. So I'm keen to see it. Before we do that, we're just going to go through. Obviously, if you haven't played Game Day Squad, I'm sure everyone here knows what we're all about. We're halfway through the season now. But last week on this show, we announced something pretty exciting in the form of our multi-competitions.
Oh, yeah.
So just in case you did miss that, we haven't had the full announcement go out on socials yet, but everything's in our support documents. But in a couple of weeks' time, coaches are going to be able to compete in up to 4 competitions at the same time, Kerm. And that means 2 brand new competitions. So if you've put your ranking in the chat, and I appreciate those who have commented that, if you're not happy with it, don't worry, because you're going to get 2 brand new competitions where everyone starts on 0 again. So those 2 competitions, and even the third, because I'll be able to compete in the champion now. I'm hoping to get 1 up on Tom, and hopefully 2 or 3 up on Tom, which would be fantastic. I reckon he's just a classic. Oh, I was going to say flat track bully. It wasn't going to, but a flat track bully in the classic competition. I reckon I've got him covered everywhere else.
Tom is getting chatty. Tom is getting he's getting very vocal. 10 rounds in, I think he is due a little bit of a flat line at some point, but equal first and starter. I like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wish we could all get there, Kookaroos. That is fantastic. Just wanted to call out as well. I don't know if anyone here has been playing cricket on Game Day Squad, but we just released last night our World Cup cricket, which is awesome. I know, Kerm, you said you've been head down, bum up in the cricket space. That's why you haven't been around the AFL at the moment. You've been the man pushing all of that. Super excited. I know it's a different World Cup. This one's the T20, but still excited to see Australia. In consecutive years winning World Cups would be fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about this. The player pool's gone up about double. So the last World Cup we had on the platform, there was only 10 teams playing. This T20 World Cup, there's 20 teams playing. So we got a lot of variety. We're going to be exposed to a lot of cricket, a lot of teams that we don't usually see, and it's super exciting to get around.
Fantastic. Well, Kerm, I'm going to let you take it away. Round 10, what is your theme of the week?
Yeah, so this theme of the week is going to lead into my team in a couple of slides' time. But TIO, last week didn't produce many fantasy points. I mean, it was an absolute slaughterhouse for the Suns. I think it was 124 to like 50-odd points against North Melbourne, granted. But in terms of fantasy points, I think the highest scorer was Took with about 120. And then after him, there wasn't a lot. So how do you go about it? I mean, the ground is small. It is tiny. Obviously, dewy, slippery, hot, humid, all that sort of stuff as well. All these things impact fantasy scoring. But where do you put your players? Because there's a lot of intriguing players that, I mean, our forward lines, everybody's going to have Myers, everybody's going to have Flanders. Do we worry about those type of operators? So, yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more when my slide comes up. But
well, I want to touch on the Flanders one because Auntie Boogers just said, so drop Flanders.
Don't. I'm just putting the cautions out there and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm going to see after this week, because if it is a running theme, maybe we go into the third TIO Stadium game with a little bit more caution. But hopefully last week was a little bit of an anomaly, if I can spit that word out.
Yeah, nice. You've done well. I was just going to say, Flanders, he still scored 122 last week without having a tackle. So you said smaller ground, you'd expect a bit more. So you'd expect him to get at least a 3 or 4 was his average this year. So if he get 122 without giving anyone a hug, maybe. But also shout out Auntie Booger, our coach of the week in our weekly email. So fantastic getting to know yourself a little bit better in that questionnaire. So go check that out. Check your emails. We do one of them every week. You win a pack, so make sure you hit up Tom on the Discord if you want to get involved. Before I get into mine, I just want to rattle off a few quick questions that are coming through. Bronze only comp for cricket. Yeah, absolutely. There is going to be. So our starter competition, cricket's going to be the first one that we have all 4 competitions ready to go at the start of the season. So super excited for that, which is going to be great. Which 2 rucks? I'm going to touch on this when I go through my squads because I've done something a little bit rogue. I don't know if you want to wait for that as well, but Justin will cover that. And I know there's already been a couple of questions around Fisher and Sheasel, and I'll talk about both of them as well. Kerm, how many Freo defenders is too many this week? They have a tasty matchup against St Kilda. St Kilda love letting defenders kick the ball behind the play, the opposition. And as you know, Freo have 3 playable defenders in Young, Clark, And yeah,
Ryan.
am I missing? Ryan. Gee, sorry, the name's all there. You go. I got him in my squad. So yeah, how many is too many? I reckon 2 at least.
Is there such thing as too many? Yeah.
Is anyone brave to play 3? Like, yeah. What do you think?
I don't think there is such thing as too many. I think they can all, coexist together. Obviously, Young's playing a little bit of a different role. Ryan is finding the footy absolutely everywhere, and you know where the footy's going to go. It's going to go on his boot, which you get 4 points for in GDS fantasy scoring. Clark is obviously the risk, but I was super high on him coming into the season. Obviously, it's been higher. There's been some lows as well off the pitch, on the pitch. See, there's my cricket coming in, off the field, on the field. But yeah, I really don't think there is a limit to your Freo defenders this season. It's awesome to watch.
Well, Bowden might disagree. He played all 3 last week, he said, and it was a bad idea. I've got to get this one. Finn McGuinness, shout out. He plays football and he watches the stream. Is it Ned Moyle season, Kerm?
Oh, I hope so. It's been coming along for some time. Obviously, Witsy is an absolute champion, but Ned Moyle, he is exciting, and I love watching him. So if he can put a big game together, that will be an awesome watch.
Awesome. All right. I will get on to my squad and show you what I've done. Should be loading up. Here we go, Kerm. Let me take you through it. Point number 1. It's time to start zagging for me. And what that means is I'm 1,000 points back from 10th place. It's going to be a steep task to try and claw that back. There are a lot of really good coaches. I moved up to 39th, but it's just so competitive at the moment. You take one wrong step and you feel like you're just falling backwards, which is awesome to see. A lot of great coaches out there competing really hard. And it's only going to get tougher in some of these weekly competitions as more and more coaches now are going to be able to compete in multiple comps. But if I am going to start pulling it back, Kerm, I'm going to have to start making some swings. And you can see I've gone with probably the biggest one there in the middle. Yeah. Zachy Butters. I just love the form he's in at the moment. And we saw last year how good he can be. And they've got a really, really nice matchup against Hawthorn. You know I don't trust Rosie in the first game back from injury. He's probably a big one that I'm going there. And then I'm going to have to make another call in my rucks as well, is probably the other big one. I still think Max Gawn is the number 1 ruck this season. But Rowan Marshall at the moment, I'm going to be playing him. I know we had a question there before, if I can ask. Someone was going, which 2 rucks this week? I've gone Marshall and English. So I wonder if people at the top are going to just stay with the English and Gawn and keep that rolling along. Again, like I said, I'm going to have to start trying to swing a little bit more, try and get some of those other decisions right. Number 2, bye-bye Sheasel, my all-star card. I've got no prize card or all-stars this week. So this is how my team looks like. And I know people were saying, what do we do with him? But just the role at the moment. Zach Fisher has just taken his role. He's been fantastic. So I'm not playing Sheasel. I don't quite trust him yet. And third one, Nick Dacos is still the man, if you weren't following already. So I know if there's people jumping off him amazingly, his price on some of his cards, Kerm, I don't know if you were following along in our YouTube show, his platinums were getting down towards $10, which was, Tom and I were both saying, I don't know, this guy's going to get lower. I think we picked up a couple each, and then, bang, he's gone huge since. So, I think if you don't have a Nick Dacos now, it's going to be really hard to get your hands on one of them. So that's my
challenger squad, just quietly when it comes in.
Mate, I've got a couple. I'm going to guarantee I'm going to have a Nick Dacos in all of my squads running around because he's that good. And I'm sure everyone's going to be the same, wanting Nick Dacos as well. So what do you think? There's my squad. Anything that's screaming out to you?
No, it's solid. Shai Bolton back in. Wondering if he might have had a Bronze Baker. But you can't really, between the two of them, you can't really have a gripe about both. We'll get into my squad in a little bit, but our forward lines are looking similar. We got a bunch of similar players, to be honest. So Tommy Stewart is the one that I've had a little bit of a gripe with so far this season. And I mean, he hasn't been awful. I mean, he started the season on fire, but since then he's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row under triple digits. So maybe smaller ground tonight. Geelong taking control of the game against the Suns. He gets back into some form and rewards you with your faith with him.
Yeah, and he didn't. He was targeted last week.
Yeah.
Against Port. I reckon he's due for a bounce back. And he goes into my Zag sort of thing. I don't know a lot of people are going to be wanting to play a lot of players in tonight because it's basically like playing a wet weather game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Skip's asked, fellas, do I play Sheasel or Whitfield this week? Skip, last week we told you to play Sinclair over Wanganeen Millera. And Tom and I were both on the same page with it. And obviously that went terribly wrong for you. So I'm going to say Whitfield this week, which means you should be going Sheasel.
Nice.
Any arguments there, Kerm?
No, not at all. We'll get into my squad here.
Last one before we do. I just want to call out McKercher and Phillips out. Is it worth playing Powell? Scott, I want to see it from Tommy Powell. I want to see him back in the role before I believe it's going to be there. He was obviously fantastic, Kerm. He was set and forget. He looked like he was on track for an all-star card, and then had the role taken away, had the midfield time. What are your thoughts? Do you have a view on this one? Do you think it's worth the gamble of playing him?
Obviously, he's a forward line player, right? So a lot of people are going to have their hand played for them. And I think he could do a lot worse than Tom Powell this week. And I know, as the Corporate Brews mentioned, Baker didn't come back from his cork. I've slotted Tom Powell in for Baker, and we'll see. We downloaded these slides a little bit earlier. You'll see Liam Baker in my team, but he is out.
Let's go to it straight.
Yeah,
right away. Flick it
as it loads. But yeah, Baker, he is not back in, and Tom Powell, I think, is going to be a play that people sort of turn to when we get to these lineups. But this is where things get interesting. 85th rank so far through the season in the capped competition. I have stayed with Sheasel. I've stayed with Whitfield. I've stayed with Noah Anderson. I've added and I've passed all concussion protocols coming into this live show and making this squad here. I've added Ed Richards. I've added Zach Guthrie, and I've added Max Holmes. So we're going back to what we were talking about earlier on in the show, the TIO Stadium. Are we scared? Are the scores low? Is this going to be a running theme? Is it a pattern that we're noticing? I've ignored everything that I've said, and I've added in Zach Guthrie and Max Holmes, who are playing tonight. My first point here, tonight's game. Noah Anderson, who's playing tonight, and obviously Sammy Flanders coming in and retaining his spot with my platinum in the forward line. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be looking at Ed Richards going, Kerm, what is actually going on? And again, I brought it up earlier in the show. Tommy Liberatore is still out. And last week with Tom Liberatore out, Ed Richards saw an 80% rise in CBAs and went absolutely off his head. He scored 156 GDS fantasy points, 15 kicks, 19 handballs. I'm hoping and praying he keeps those CBA percentages and stays in the midfield. And again, as you said, zig while others are zagging at 85th rank. I think playing someone like Richards might maybe sneak me up a couple of ranks if it pays off. Zach Guthrie. I've left out a lot of players for Zach Guthrie, which I would not have thought coming into the season. Obviously, his teammate Tommy Stewart, I've left out over Zach Guthrie, the likes of Jack Sinclair, Nasai Wanganeen Malira, I've left out. And the reason being is just we found a little bit of consistency with Zach Guthrie. In his last 4 games, he scored 104, 112, 131, and 123, 4 consecutive games with healthy scores. And your logic with Stewart is my logic with Guthrie. Get in behind, hopefully control the game from the back line, use that Guthrie. Arnie Booger, very brave. I'm very scared. I'm not actually going to put in concrete that my team won't change before the first bounce tonight. But tonight's game is going to play a big part in where I rank after this round. Point 2 here. If Lloyd Meek can, surely Luke Jackson can, right? ... And Luke Jackson coming up against Rowan Marshall this week. Obviously, a boatload of changes, as we spoke about at the top of the show, for St Kilda. But Lloyd Meek last night went absolutely off his head with 134 GDS fantasy points. Luke Jackson has left a lot on the table for fantasy coaches since his solo ruck role at the start of the season. Last week, he went back to solo ruck because Sean Darcy cannot stay on the park, but he only managed 82 GDS fantasy points. So I am scared of Luke Jackson, but I don't know. It's just if Lloyd Meek can, surely someone like Luke Jackson can too. And the third point there, we touched on it already, Ed Richards. There's going to be a lot of umming and ahhing about him. Going back to the ruck conversation we had earlier, Tim English and Max Gawn, I genuinely haven't touched this since round 1, I don't think. And I probably won't until round 24. So if that answers your question, a lot of good analysis coming from it. But yeah, this is where we're at. Keep in mind, Liam Baker out, Tom Powell in. Zach Fisher stays, Harry Sheasel stays, Lockie Whitfield stays, Noah Anderson stays, despite the poor weeks last week.
Wow, that's awesome. There you go. Who said that you hadn't been on the show in a while?
Hey, we're always keeping an eye on something. But we'll touch base next week, early next week on Monday when I'm in tears. I'm at rank 185 instead of 85th.
I honestly was like, do I want to talk to you about the Guthrie pick? Do I want to talk to you about bringing back Powell? What's the love for Sheasel? I don't even know where to start. So yeah, someone we had a question before was asking between Neil and Dunkley. You have actually gone with Dunkley. So do you want to touch on that question?
Yeah, so obviously the matchup against Richmond offers a lot for Brisbane Lions midfielders this week. Neil, off the back of his season last year, obviously hasn't been fantastic this year. Dunkley has been, for mine, a bit of a set and forget. I started him on my bench in week 1, and he really hasn't left. He's actually come into my, obviously, on-field team here. But Dunkley has been incredible. Neil, with 101 GDS average, he scored 93 last week. His best score so far this year is 155 in round 8. If there's going to be a round to start Lockie Neil, it's going to be this round against Richmond, who are leaking points everywhere. But I would honestly go as far to say I would start McCluggage over Neil, but Josh Dunkley over both. I think McCluggage has been incredible, and it is a nice little sway. We spoke about it multiple times so far. The show, zig while others are zagging. McCluggage might just be the one.
Wow, there you go. There you go. I love it. I've loved seeing your squad here too, Kerm, because you don't show it to us. You keep it hidden away from me and Tom. I don't know if you're hiding your picks and your secrets, but no, that's fantastic. If you have any more questions on anything Kerm's doing, feel free to send them through. Kerm, we're going to go on to maybe the thing I've been looking forward to the most tonight, and that is roasting this man's tiers.
Yeah.
So he's been pretty good of late.
Has he?
I'll give him credit. Yeah, he actually has. He has. He's had the old howler where you're like, but overall, like not like the week when he wasn't here and we just took him to the cleaners. So I want you guys reacting along. Tom will definitely watch this back. I guarantee you. So make sure you let him know in the comments. You'll see them flick through as well. Kerm, you've just been asked who you go for. You are one of 6 Sun supporters, I believe.
Yeah, I've got a membership just because people often need like a like something to prove that I actually do follow the team, because people they think it's extinct. They don't know it's true, but I am a Gold Coast Suns fan. Very up and down year. It's been very hard to be a fan of Gold Coast, but here we are.
All right, let's get into it. Who has Tommy got on his silver tier? Reminder how this works is how he's got the tier. He's saying if you've got these players, you should be playing them if you can in at least the silver, at the most the silver tier. So if you've got a golden, for example, you play the silver golden. You got a gold, you play your silver. Anything standing out for you here?
I think you might know yourself, but Sammy Walsh in the silver tier for me is a bit harsh, and I've been
He's
singing
I forgot he's your love child, isn't he? You love that
Yeah,
man.
I love him to bits, and I know the matchup sucks. I know it's against the Swans, but I think just off the back of 163 GDS fantasy points last week, Silver might just be a touch harsh for mine. I love him, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that Walsh one. I do like he's got the two Freo players in there. So the defenders, he has been listening to me. That's cool. He's in on Zach Fisher. If you watched our YouTube show that comes out on a Monday, I know he did speak a bit about Zachy Fisher. So that's fantastic. Goulden, one of the lowest he's had him this season. So
this is a surprising one.
Yeah, it's very common to see Goulden in red.
Yeah,
which is always glasses on, but no, I think he's done all right here. All right,
let's go to gold.
And what do we got? Zorko gold, yes. Heaney, Sarong, and Dawson. I've got no complaints here.
No, I don't mind that. I don't mind.
I know how good Heaney's been. I keep trying to predict the week he'll fall off. He could be winning the Brownlow. He could be 20 weeks into this, and I'll still be like, you know what Heaney's like.
Yeah,
but
Brownlow favourite at the moment going into it against Carlton though. You can't really blame him.
Which shout out, by the way.
Yeah,
Parker. I was going to say Parker is now 4 weeks. This is going to be his fourth week in a row in the twos.
Yeah,
can't get a game.
Kicked a 70-meter barrel in the twos. I don't know if anyone saw that on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you watch it on. Arnie Booger, Heaney higher. The argument can obviously be made. Heaney's been outstanding so far this season. And again, he's put his Swan bias away big time this week, knowing he's not going to be on the show to back himself. But yeah, I don't mind the Heaney call. Zorko and Heaney both forwards in the gold tier. Maybe one of them can slide up, but yeah. Yeah,
right. I don't know if I'd be putting him. The rest I can live with. Zorko, I know he's had that huge week and he's been in great form. Yeah. I don't know about it. This is interesting because he's gone platinum, gone. He doesn't like doing that. He doesn't like any other ruckman anywhere near Tingles. But Sam Flanders, I think this one is his first one. I think he's got really wrong. I don't trust in the wet conditions. I know I said that he did really well last week without getting any tackles. That just gives me comfort that he's going to be playable. I'm not playing a platinum Sam Flanders this week, particularly obviously in the classic competition is where we've got this for 2 weeks time. If we were 2 weeks time and I had anywhere I was playing in the champion and the challenger competitions as well, absolutely I'd be rolling out of Flanders, not in the classic. What do you think about that?
I am literally running a platinum Flanders in the cup competition, the classic competition. So I can't say much against it because I'm literally doing it.
But again, like you said, you're a Suns member / fan, 1 of 6. So someone's got to rep him. I get it from you, but from him,
I've definitely got my Suns bias on. Not sure where Tom. I can't. Yeah, I like it, Tom. You know what? I like it.
Don't encourage him. All right. Second last here, Diamonds. Make sure as well, if you are getting involved, let us know. We're going to be giving away a couple of players here and some packs, Kerm. So let us know early if you want to be involved in that. Kerm, you've always had the best pack luck of all of us. Hopefully you can pass it on to someone tonight. I'm stitching you up here early. Dunkley is the answer to the question of Neil versus Dunkley from Tom's Eye this week. That is a huge call for him. I don't know if Dunkley's featured much on these tiers at all this season. I can't remember seeing him. Maybe the odd game as a silver. He really thinks it's Dunkley week.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I sort of pumped up Dunkley's tires as well when we spoke about my squad. I can see where his head's at with it. Diamond, you could argue maybe a touch high. But yeah, again, I can't really go against him because I smoked up Joshy Dunkley in my segment.
Fantastic. And Merritt, of course, his favorite player that he's hugged this season. And I guess this is going to be no surprises here at the top. Yeah, standard.
There it is.
I get the Dacos play. And hey, I tell you what, if I had an English legend card, or the English legend card, because he's actually already out in the wild, Tim English, legend. I would be playing, even in the classic competition. I just feel like, it's gonna help you more weeks than it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
So I'd still think, I can still see we didn't see any Rowan Marshall in there, so he's answered the question of which two rucks he's playing this week. But Justin wants a free card. He needs a decent forward. Justin, I'm going to sort you out because I'm going to go first. That is my squad. I'm going to take you, where are we? To the packs. Tom normally does this. Apologies. You can clearly tell I'm not normally in charge of this. Justin, I'm going to be giving you in our game of buy, give, and sell. Kerm, you're going to be up next. So Kerm, you're going to have to pick someone out. If you want to be involved, yell out to Kerm. Tell Kerm why you want him to pick you, and he's going to pick the best as we go through.
Let's do it.
Who do you think I'm getting? What's the best?
He wants a decent forward. So hopefully for Justin's sake, you get a Flanders or a Heaney or maybe even a dynasty pick like a Harley Reid in here.
Ooh,
legendary time, decent, nice.
Durham's not going to be the forward he wants.
He's not going to be the one, though.
I am going to put Durham. I'm going to keep him. You never know when you need a Durham, particularly with the multi-competitions. I don't believe I have many, so I'm going to hold that one early. So that means this next one is either going up for a set on the market or it's going towards Justin. Sorry, catch you off there.
Diving on the grenade there.
Yeah, Tex Walker. Geez, I don't know if that's the forward Justin wanted. But, Justin, it's the forward you're getting.
Okay.
So, I'm not confident. Forward. It's a forward. Let's hope. So, there you go, Justin. Tex Walker's coming your way. Cleary, I think we've done you good.
You did good. 34-year-old Tex Walker is the player there, unfortunately, for Justin.
Sorry, Justin. Should have had Kerm pick the cards for you. That Cleary's going up on the market for a cent at some point during the game. So make sure you reach out to me this week, Justin, for that Tex Walker to be yours. Kerm, who are you picking? Is there someone that's popped up?
I'm going to go with the Corporate Roos purely because we might be merged. I'm assuming they're a Kangaroos fan. The Suns might be merging with the Roos at some point, and we're trying to build a relationship starting in 2024. So going with the Corporate Roos.
There's a question for you. If
here we go. Yeah.
Let's go back 4 months ago, knowing what you know, and you merge the two lists, North Melbourne and the Gold Coast. You get to pick a team every week. You can pick your coach. You can have Clarko and Hardwick coach together if you want. Where do they finish? Where would they be right now?
So we get the likes of Sheasel, LDU. Okay.
Do they still ask for a priority pick?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I still don't like. Obviously, a lot of young operators. Hopefully, by then, some of them are reaching their peak. Some of them might even be past it. But DC's probably spot on the money. If you even merge the Suns and the Kangaroos right now, we're still probably 17th.
You could merge the Suns with any club, and they still wouldn't play finals. You can pick Geelong. It would just probably lock every single year, and you'd find a way. That's all right. Let's go. Let's see who you've got. Not the animation.
Not the animation we want.
All right. Take it away. Furphy.
Oh, I'm going to keep him and hope that we get a little bit better as we go on. A gold.
Oh, some
Toby
playable.
Conway. I don't really want to play the river card here. I'm gonna put. I can't give that to my new mate. So we're gonna put him up on the transfer market for a cent.
Oh, the Geelong pack.
Jesus Christ!
If that doesn't tell you who's winning tonight,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, the writing's on the wall already. But yeah, unfortunately, I've let you down there. The Corporate Roos, you'll be getting Neil.
All right. Well, Kerm, that is almost going to wrap us up here. Is there anything else you want to say? Like we said, we don't get you back here much. Is there anything you want to say? People following along to me, even just put out some good vibes out to your Suns that are playing tonight. Thursday night games doesn't happen
Thursday
often.
night. It doesn't happen often for the Suns. This is a special occasion. We'll be posted up. We'll be watching at least until halftime while we're still within 60 points. Good luck to everyone this week. Obviously, we're getting to the middle period of the season. This is where things get tough. This is where coaches become. This is where the boys separate from the men, if you will. Spells trouble for the merger. Yeah, unfortunately, things have gotten off to a rocky start already, as you would imagine. DC is an absolute hero of this live show. He comes in with the good vibes every time. That would be an incredible feat for the Suns. But no, good luck this week. Good luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure I'll be back sprinkled in throughout the rest of the season. Love hanging out with you guys. So good luck until next time.
Awesome. And yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff over, like we said, for the Cricket World Cup. I know you're in the process of going through all the different teams at the moment. We've got some absolute teams you wouldn't even know are playing cricket have made the World Cup. So you're the man doing all the research, working with our man JT on all the rankings and stuff. So keep an eye out. A lot of information for that. If you're excited, just know Kerm is not on the Aussie Rules show because he is doing God's work over there for cricket. Kerm, thank you so much for coming back. It's been awesome to host a show where I have the highest ranking. Appreciate everyone who's jumped on. Enjoy what is a fantastic week of footy. Kerm, I'm actually going to be at Magic Round for the Rugby League. So
you are.
This might be the only game of footy I get to watch all weekend.
That's unlucky.
Yeah, it is. It's the one weekend where I really have to pretend I'm a rugby league fan. Big part of our game here in Game Day Squad is our rugby league. We all know what side of the fence we're on. So, yeah, hopefully the games of footy are good for everyone. I'll try and get it on my phone. We'll see how we go. But good luck. Look forward to competing with everyone. And we'll see everyone back here next Thursday night.